The Village of Hainesville regular board meeting will now come to order at 7:04 p.m. on Tuesday, May 22nd, 2012. If everybody would please rise and I'll lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Linda Soto.
Present.
Trustees Daranoski.
Here.
Kreese.
Here.
Duberstein. Here. Barrett is absent. Trustee Barrett is absent. Daly.
Here.
And Walkington.
Here.
We are in quorum. Trustee Barrett got called into a meeting in Oak Brook at one of their clients. It is possible that he'll arrive later this evening. We're not sure. It depends how the meeting goes. So we want Kevin to do his job and first call of duty, so we'll continue without him and fill him in when he gets here. Okay, if I could have a motion for approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Daranoski.
Aye.
Kreese.
Aye.
Duberstein. Aye. Daly.
Aye.
Walkington.
Aye.
Motion carried.
This time we will accept public comments for anybody that chooses to address the board. Have we had any forms filled out? Any takers for filling out the form to address the board? Okay, gone. Next item is the omnibus vote agenda. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Daranoski.
Aye.
Kreese.
Aye.
Duberstein. Aye. Daly.
Aye.
And Walkington.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Before we move into the main purpose of tonight's meeting, just a few quick announcements. At our last meeting we had a cake in recognition of Kelly's 15 years and also some birthdays. One of the birthdays just arrived Friday, May 18th, so we happy birthday, Jerry Daly.
Thank you.
And today was an important anniversary for our clerk, Kathy Metzler, 12 years with the village today. Round of applause. And we ate some goodies earlier today. So.
Leftover cake.
The cake that keeps on giving. And then I also just want to acknowledge, because I have received a lot of comments personally of thanks. We've gotten a few emails, and I think they're going to continue to come in, so I'll save them for the next board meeting. But I would say overall, the fountains and the aerator that have been put in have been very well received with the residents. We had talked about the first year that I got in office and Georgianne headed up the Wetlands Committee about putting some fountains in. We put an article in the newsletter and then we cut them from the budget. And a lot of people have asked us, when are you going to ever do those fountains? And some of the comments I've had, and I was actually surprised, and I shared it with Georgianne, of course, because it's her committee that led the effort. I didn't realize that this was an issue with one of the ponds. Brittany Park Pond, which can be seen by a lot of different folks and is utilized. It's next to a park area. Certainly it will help somewhat with the reduction of mosquito larvae. It's not going to solve the problem by any means. It does. Within 24 hours of putting the fountain in, the residents that live around that pond said they could not believe the change in the water, the looks of the water, and more importantly, I had never realized that they experienced an odor in their backyard from the pond. So they were thrilled that the odor had dissipated. So they're very well received and nice to look at, which is just a side benefit. Also, this past weekend, Saturday, we had beautiful weather for our ribbon cutting ceremony for the bike path extension, and that went extremely well, and I want to thank the staff and the trustees, Trustee Kreese with public safety, on bike safety, and also for Trustee John Daranoski. They did kind of a joint effort with that event, and we had a good turnout for the ceremony itself. I think we did really well with the bike helmets, And then the other event that day was our very first electronic recycling event. And we had, was it 102 or 108 cars drive through?
I think right about 102.
102. And wow, I cannot believe the amount of electronics. We still got the semi-trailer here because they're still working each day they have to pallet it and wrap it. And make it more safe.
Avon Township is doing their weekly cleanup, and they had asked if any electronics that they had, if they could utilize the cartridges that we have here, so everything that's recycled, Hainesville's going to get the weight credit for it. So we have boxes set up for them, so they're coming through, you know, in the afternoons every week or every day and just putting their stuff in. So that semi right now is double stacked. Wow, it's a 53-foot trailer. Half of it's full, floor to ceiling, and we're about halfway full on the other side. So we're 3/4 full, which is pretty amazing. A lot of stuff.
It was really, I think the residents were very appreciative, and of course we attracted people from neighboring communities as well. And so you'll get a report on that. That'll show exactly what town, you know, I think we had 65 cars that were Hainesville cars, and then how many from Rowling Park, how many from Grays Lake, and so on, that we'll find out where we pulled from. And then, real brief mention, this past Thursday, May 17th, I was recruited from a special ed class, Park Campus, where actually my son is a student. And I think that's why they approached me, which was fine, because he's graduating 8th grade, you know, 8th graders focus on government. But in this class, there's kids from all neighboring towns. They're from Hainesville, they're from Grays Lake, they're from the Round Lake area, they're from Lake Villa and Third Lake. And so a dozen of these children and their aides and teachers and I went to the Lake County Clerk's office. And Willard Helander gave us a tour of their office and explained the records they keep. And I want to tell you, she does a fabulous job. She does field trips for schools and children all over. And I think it's more important than ever that kids learn about their responsibility and what it is to be a citizen in your community and participation in the local level. So we also learned about taxes in the tax department, and then we played a game of election bingo. So that was pretty fun. And then we got on the bus, came here, all the kids sent in money from their parents for lunch, so Subway provided lunch for them, and then the village provided their beverages and the place to eat. And then we had a brief mock board meeting, and we did a proclamation for bike safety. So a good time was had by all. So I encourage you to contact Willard Helander's office if you have a Boy Scout, Girl Scout troop or class that you're working with to take advantage of doing something like that. Now I'm just going to point out, I'm going to be giving the floor to Mike Benko, our EMA coordinator, in a moment. We're very excited to be doing this tabletop exercise. And so in a moment we'll be moving from meeting mode into this tabletop. And this is an exercise for the board and the staff and EMA to work on the plan, to walk through what we would do in certain emergencies, and find out where there's holes or weaknesses, and if there's opportunities for us to improve and strengthen these areas. So Mike will tell you a little bit more about that. Nobody knows exactly what the exercise is that Mike has in store for us or what's going to unfold. The public is welcome to stay, but you are not allowed to participate. So there'll be no participation with the tabletop. Now in the future, somewhere down the road, we may go to the next level, I'm sure we will, and then we will be recruiting certain residents to play certain roles. So if you have an interest in that, please let me know and we'll put your name on the list. But for the purpose of today's exercise, this is the first time we've walked through our new updated EMA plan. Some of us are a little rusty, and some of us have never done this at all. We have a lot of newbies, trustees that have never done an exercise like this. And I want to remind everyone that Hainesville has not always had an active EMA. It's kind of come and gone. And even if you don't have an EMA, not every municipality does, you still have to have an emergency plan. And there's emergency powers for the mayor. There are state statutes and, you know, items in the municipal code that tell the village clerk and the treasurer what they have to do. And I think I unfortunately rattled their cages a little bit earlier today. That wasn't my intent, because while we did not want to give them any clue of what was happening and there was nothing you had to bring, I did remind the clerk and the treasurer a little bit about, well, you know what your emergency issues are in your official capacity. And I think that got everybody a little bit. That wasn't my intent, and that's okay. I had to go read my emergency powers again, so don't feel bad, okay? With that, Mike Benko, I give you the floor.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Microphone?
Can I just have a second? I want to switch my tape, so when I give you a thumb drive, it's just EMA.
Oh, good point. And you know what? You do not need to video the exercise. We're just going to record it on a separate drive, so he has it in case he wants to revisit anything.
Should we close you officially?
That's what I was almost wondering. Can we adjourn?
Do we adjourn now, or I thought we just go to exercise and adjourn later, or no? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
If the idea is to have it as part of the meeting, we should keep the meeting open. But if the exercise, I think we should keep the meeting open. And,
Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
that's why we set the agenda.
We're not adjourned.
Okay.
We won't adjourn, and we've invited the public who are here to stay. It just
Right.
won't be recorded.
So then I'm going to stop and then give me a minute. Okay, so now we're on new recording.
The minutes are just really.
Okay. I'm all set.
Mike, you are going to introduce that fine gentleman standing next to you, aren't you?
I am.